Welcome back to Unraveled Game Thoughts, and I'm going to do a playthrough Mage Knight. I will pop my face up on the screen here in a bit and probably change the camera to be a little bit better. But before jumping into the game, I think one of the most daunting things about Mage Knight are figuring out what to do with all these components. And you just open the box up and there's just all this stuff, and what do I do with it? And a lot of it can be sorted into different features, but different areas of the board. And I used, there are two rule books in the copy of Mage Knight that I have, and I don't have the Ultimate Edition. I think I have a basic edition of Mage Knight. But the rule book and the game walkthrough, and you have to use both of these and flip back and forth between pages to figure out where to start. So I thought with this video, I'll just start with some good setup and what to do with the components, where to put them, and kind of have at least a starting place on your table. I would say that if you have a chance to print out the official FAQ, go through BGG most likely and find it. It says 7th February 2014, but I believe Paul Grogan had linked this FAQ as the most up-to-date. This will be helpful for answering some questions in the game, and also for there's some frequently missed things, and I will most likely miss some when I play through this, but there are some things that are easy to miss in the game, and as I get to some of those that are included in that playthrough, I'll try to say something about it. So the first thing you have here is the setup. You have this main board, and you're going to want to put one of your shield tokens on the 0 of this space here, because this is kind of like the level you're at, depending on, as you go up in level or you gain fame, you will move up in level as you gain fame. And then you have a reputation, which can influence some other things in the game. We'll get into that later. So putting this board out here with the shield markers. Now, what's a shield marker? Well, every character in the game has a shield marker of their own, with their own insignia on it. So I am using Tovak, which means this is Tovak's shield marker. So those are the ones I'm using to mark places on the map as we get to that. The other thing to do is to separate all these tokens and just make sure you have enough space for a discard pile behind them. In a minute here, I'll show you how we're going to set some out on the board. And with the first scenario, and that's what I'm doing, I'm actually going to end up taking some of these out, but you have map tiles that have this green back, and then you have what are called core map tiles that have this back. Now, I'm not going to reveal this because these are shuffled, and one of them has a city on it, and in this first scenario that I'm doing, it is this discovering the tile with the city wins me the scenario. I just have to reveal that tile. These are going to be tiles that I'm largely going to have to go through in order to get to the city because of the way the map is formed. But if it's your very first game, what you might want to do is look for the number on the tile. There's a little number on each of these tiles, and it's got to be oriented the same way as the letter on the starting tile down here. There's a letter in this bottom corner. So every time I put one of these tiles down, it's going to have to make sure that number is oriented like on that tile down there. So now this is my second game. So I actually shuffled these for a little bit more variability because I've already played the game, and if I orient them or just number them 1 to 8 and draw them that way, it's not going to be quite as good. But one of the things I have to do for my opening setup is in the first game, you are doing it's this wedge formation here that we're using. And so we're going to go ahead and put down 2 of these starting tiles right out of the gate. And this is a little more randomized than what mine was. Whoops, I did not put that in the right place. Something is wrong here. What is it? That goes there. The reason I know that those are in the wrong place is because it always forms a star or a circle if you put it in the right section of the map. So this is going to be a wedge formation going out that way, And that's how this map ends up playing out. So I start with those two there. And the other thing that I'm going to be putting out is every time you have one of these swords shown on the map, you will take one of these randomly shuffled here and you actually flip them over and put them onto that space, so you can kind of see which enemy you're going to be facing when you get to that space. There is not, I don't believe, anything we put on a dungeon or a tomb, whichever one that is, I can't remember, but that is your starting map setup. So the cards and how you sort them is the other big starting factor. And since they all have roughly the same back, that's what was probably one of the most daunting thing for me, is like, I got to figure out what all these cards do and which ones go where. So I'm going to try to explain that to make it easy. One of the biggest chunks of cards you're going to have is these that have a little blood symbol on one side. You're going to have a whole bunch of these on this side. They just look like the cards. There's no need to shuffle them because they're all the same. But these are your wounds. Basically, when you take damage in the game, that's going to clog up your hand and your deck. So those are going to be separated, and I put them in a center stack. You're going to have 4 sets of basic cards that are your starting deck of cards. And you'll be able to recognize these by a symbol in the top right-hand corner. And each one, like I'm using a dummy player here for this deck, and so this is the deck for the dummy player. I'm actually playing the second game with the same character I used in the first game, just for the sake of learning. And I have the same symbol that's on my shield is on these cards here for me to see. And so I am going to, I have this deck assembled. I'm going to give it a shuffle so I don't know what's in it. And technically what you would have is your draw pile here and your discard pile is over here, and you kind of have a play area here. I have mine set up a little bit differently just because I have slightly less table space and it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to put my draw pile here, and then I'll have my discard pile probably over here. Because 2 other kinds of cards you're going to have these cards with a couple of fists on the front. These are unit cards. Let me just give them a shuffle. And there's gray or silver backed, as what these are. And then there are gold backed unit cards. Now these, in the first scenario you play, you won't even use these gold backed cards, but they'll come into play once you are playing scenarios where you might conquer a city. In this one, we're only discovering a city. But in this particular game, we have the unit offer, which you're going to put out. And since you set up like a 2-player game, in this game, as I understand it, you would set out 4 because it's the number of players plus 2. And so since we're using a dummy player, even though the dummy player is technically not really doing anything on the map, it's just a way of timing so that you can play the game without the dummy player, in which you can just explore the map and run into what you run into. But if you use the dummy player, it gives you a little bit of timer, a little bit of a sense of urgency in the game to get things done. So this is the unit offer. This board here is your night and day board and the source. So you have different land types here that will correlate to the land types on your map. And during the day, you can see how much movement it takes to actually move through or onto, not through, but onto one of these spaces. So during the day, if you want to move through rocky terrain, it's going to cost you 5. You are not allowed to move through mountains. You are not allowed to move through lakes. If you want to move through a city, it's going to cost you 2 movement. At night, it's going to be slightly different. These numbers change at night. And on the front, you can actually see the little number here tells you what it's going to be at night. So at night, it's harder to move through the forests and easier to move through the desert. During the day, it's the opposite. The other ones they're the same for those particular things. But this is have 4 rounds in the first scenario if you're playing it solo. So you'll have a round during the day, and then it'll flip. You'll have a round during the night, another round during the day, and another round during the night. And I think in theory, you can actually pick which one you want to start on. I don't think it necessarily matters. You're going to roll these die, which I have already rolled, and put them out there. This die are basically representing mana that is just in the ether. It's just in the air, and you as a Mage Knight are able to use that mana to cast spells. Now, each turn, you're only allowed to use 1 of your own accord. However, one of the FAQ things that I learned is if a card tells you to use a mana, then if you use a mana from the source based on a card, it does not count as you using one for free. And the difference being the card will tell you use a mana from the source. Let's see if we have a card that kind of gives that example. Because usually the way these cards are set up, almost all of them are set up this way, you have a basic action that does not require mana, and on the bottom, if you use, like this is a green card, if I use a green mana, then I can do a move 4 instead of a move 2. But the card does not say to do that. This card says gain a blue, white or red mana token. Well, this card tells me to gain that, so I could gain one of those, but then I could take another one as my free one that I could get. So I could play this card and then also use a green mana from the source if there was one there. There's a gold mana, so I could use that as my free mana that I'm using. So it's just an important thing to realize. When I played the game the first time, I thought I could only take 1 mana from the source, regardless if a card said it or not. And I was often, for something like this, I was giving myself a mana that I stored in my area. So I was basically getting a mana crystal, which is what essentially these are. So you can, it says gain a blue, white, or red mana token. I think for this card concentration, I could actually gain a token, any one of those colors, but I have to use this by the end of my turn. It's not allowing me to store it because it's not saying that it's a crystal. You can only store crystals for use on later turns. So it's just an important distinction. I did not play that exactly right. This is an example of when you play this, also pay 1 mana of a basic color and gain a crystal of that color to your inventory. So I could pay a mana, a white or a blue mana, because that's what's available right now, and then I would gain a crystal in my inventory as well after I take that from there, but that's not my free mana because the card tells me to take the mana. The more powerful effect is just gain a crystal of any color, but I would have to have a blue mana to do that anyway. So the use of mana and how you can pull that into your inventory as a crystal and how that is spent during the round it varies from game to game. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. What else do we have here? So these cards I just put next to the night and day board, and you're not going to use these till night. These are your tactic cards. So during the night you have a set of tactic cards, which are kind of like how some special ability that you get to play during that round, and generally, I think generally speaking, the better the ability, the later you go in the round, so forth and so on. These cards here are the day tactic cards, and so I'll be choosing one of these for this round once I get to that point in the game. Normally they're just splayed out. If you're playing with more than a couple of players, you would get to select those. So those are some of the cards. Some other cards that you're going to have to pull out and kind of differentiate. They're spell cards. These are very easy to differentiate because they're all purple. And there are a few more that I have pulled out of the game. The reason I pulled them out of the game is because there are certain spells that you only use if you're playing with multiple players. And if you're playing solo, you pull those out because they require interaction with other players. So they are all purple. You can pull them out, give them a shuffle. And one thing you can do, it tells you if it's your very first game not to do this, but it doesn't hurt to go ahead and lay out the offer. Basically, these are the spells that if you end up at a mage tower, you can potentially obtain. On the other hand, other side of the board here, I have the advanced actions. So they look a lot like your basic actions. They do not have an insignia up here, and that's how you tell the difference. And then they have this sort of border there. And this is just like the spells. You're going to create a 3-card offer that you can obtain these spells through various other actions on the board. And whoops, that was I see that that's one of my basic cards that I accidentally got mixed in with my spells. So bada boom, bada bing, there you go. Let's get that guy there. And then the last piece, and these are very hard to obtain from what I could tell. I never got one in my first playthrough. They're artifacts. They look a little bit like spells. The wording's a little different. They've got a different shape of gold border around the edge. And so these are very powerful items that have a multi-use thing you can use once a turn, I believe. And then the other side of it is, or I guess the thing you could use when you draw it and then it goes to your discard. And then the bottom, you could use those artifacts and they are destroyed, but it's very powerful. They are hard to get. You have to defeat some pretty tough monsters. Some things you can take out of the deck that you do not need are the other player cards. So like this is another character. I'm not using that character. There's the skill card that tells me what skills they have. And then there's all their basic cards. I have just removed those. And there's their set of shields and command token. And I just set those off to the side. Don't need those. You do have, for your character, it'll again have your shield, your skills. Now these are shuffled. They're just face down. And different skills, whenever you move to a level that has the little picture of the card, when you get to those levels, you'll get to choose between 2 skills, and your skill card tells you what all the skills do when you draw them, but you're kind of drawing them randomly, so you don't know what 2 skills you're going to get. And then whenever you get a skill, the dummy player has their set of skills, and they're going to put 2 of them into the, or 1 of them rather, into the common skill pool, which is going to be over. I'm actually going to put these tiles over here because this is where the map is going to be built out. And then the skill pool will go here. You can get some of the dummy players' skills if you do some special things to do that. Mostly you'll probably choose your own skills in your first game because it's easier to do that. I think there's one skill that gets taken out because it is an interactive skill with other players. So that's taken out. There's a couple of cards the rules tell you to take out. So these are the advanced actions that you're told to take out. And then there's some spell cards here that you're told to take out as well. And I think that was another advanced action I was told to take out. So these are the things, these are just cards that are removed from the game when you're playing solo. And that is the general setup. The other cards that you're going to want to have on hand, there's this deck of, honestly, it's not really a deck. It's several cards that are, they have what to do on certain sites and how to deal with those sites when they come onto the board. So that's like if you go to the Marauding Orcs, when revealed, you place a green orc enemy token face up on the space. That's why I did that. That's how you operate on those sites. And then it kind of tells you how they work on the field. I'll do that during the gameplay and you'll kind of see how that works. But that is the general setup. It's actually, for a game like this, if you've played Sword and Sorcery, if you've played Gloomhaven, maybe if you've played maybe even Seventh Continent, this is actually probably easier to set up than Sword and Sorcery or Gloomhaven for sure. Now, I'm not saying I prefer this game over any of those games, but as far as setup goes, this one's easier so far. So hopefully that's helpful in at least getting your stuff out of the box, getting it organized, getting it onto the table. These are the turn order tokens. I did forget to mention those. You'll just need one for the dummy player and for you if you're playing with the dummy player. If you're not playing with the dummy player, you don't even need that token. And the other tokens are, you have one token like this that has no back on it. That is going to be, you can control one unit in the game, which we'll get into later. The rest of these are sorted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whoops, that got turned over. 7, 8, 9, 10. These are for when you level. And they give you some other things which I'll go into in the game rather than explaining it here. But you'll need those tokens, and on the 1, 2 side, or the 1, 2 on the very top. Every time you get to level, you will get to put one of these out. You'll be at your next level, but now you can command 2 units. So it's a little bit of how that works with the leveling. But yeah, that is general setup. I'll explain the dummy player once we get to playing. But for now, we'll move on to the game. Welcome back to Mage Knight. And we're going to jump in, and I think you have explained the parts and pieces, and the one thing I added between that explanation and here is this lovely little Whatsit. I'll hold it up in the screen. Rado's wife is a glassmaker, and these little guys, if you purchase one, supports folks in the Ukraine. So if you are interested in supporting the Ukraine, then that would be a small way you could do that. All right, so here we go. I'm using I think it's called a Whatsit. I'm probably messing that up. I'm using that as my marker for my level. All right, so starting the game, I need to decide what I want to, I have to pick a tactic card. That is the number one thing I need to do. And the different tactic cards, there's early bird where you can just go first. There is number 2 is, and the numbers will kind of determine, like if early bird's number 1, you'll go first. The Automa in Mage Knight, or the dummy player, which is really just a timer, is going to randomly pick one. And so if I pick a later number, I may or may not go first. Obviously, if I pick the last number, I won't go first. But that's how the dummy player is going to choose. I can rethink. With that tactic, I can discard up to 3 cards, including wounds, from my hand, and then draw that many cards. And that's important because when wounds are in your hand, you usually cannot just discard them. You have to use something special like this to do that. But I'm not going to have any wounds early in the game, so that's not going to be necessary. And then I can shuffle my discard deck back into my deed deck. Well, that would give me more time. However, the catch with that is that the Automa is also going to be running time on me, and so gaining more time back for me, while that might help if I was playing without a dummy player, it will not help in general, because when the dummy player runs out of cards, I have to end that round anyway. So that may or may not be helpful. We've got a mana steal. I can take 1 mana die of a basic color from the source and put it on the card, and then use that mana on any of my turns this day. And I have to re-roll at the end of that turn and return to source. So it's like an extra mana from the source. That's actually not a bad one. I'm going to put that kind of to the side here. And I don't know, I'm not 100% sure if my camera is capturing the edge of the table. Yeah, so you can see those, but you can't see my tactic cards here. So I will, let's do this. I'm going to put these here so you can kind of see them, and I'll just move them out of the way. So the mana is a possible one. Planning I really like. We're at the end of each turn. If you have at least 2 cards in your hand, before you draw, you can draw as if your hand limit is 1 higher. That's a nice one. I tried that the first game, but what I found was a lot of times I'd want to use all my cards, and so I wouldn't have at least 2 cards in my hand. that was really hard to do. So planning, it's a good card, but I probably won't use it this time. Great start. You get to draw 2 cards right out of the gate, which is not a bad deal. And then one time this day during your turn, you can announce that you'll take another turn immediately after this, and if you do, flip this card face down. Whew. So there's some good ones. Now, once I use these, they're kind of out of the game. At least they're out of the round. At least for this first scenario, the way you play it is you take these out. Now, I think in a typical game of Mage Knight with multiplayers, maybe even, no, I think in all the solo variants, you would take out the 2 cards that get drawn so that they are not available the next time you do a round. But in a multiplayer game, all of these are available like if you're playing 4 players with 4 Mage Knights, these are all going to be available every turn. I think I'm going to go for the Mana Steal. I like that one. And then these I am going to shuffle, and I'm going to randomly draw one, and the dummy player draws a 4. So these are going to be out of the game, and I'm a 3, so I'm going to leave my token here on top, and the dummy player is going to be the second player. And then these cards, I'm just going to put them there. There's not really, the night ones are here, the night tactic cards. Just putting those off to the side for now is probably going to be the best for this deal. So here I am on the map. My goal in the first scenario here is really just to explore the map and find the city. That is my primary goal. And there are various locations on the map that give me different things. Now, another thing, I randomly shuffled these instead of numbering them 1 to 8. Because this is my second game, I figured I just want to see what happens when I randomly shuffle the map tiles and then lay them out. But I have a, a monastery there. And whenever you have a monastery on the map, you draw a advanced card, an advanced spell, and you put it in the offer. I'm just going to put it right in the center because I know that's visible on camera. And so now this unit offer has that advanced card, and at the end of the round that will disappear and a different one will get drawn. But for now, we have a unit offer. Now, to get units, I have to actually do some things. I think take over a village, because I think I can only recruit units in a village, and these randomized map tiles didn't actually reveal a village on the first run through, so I'm not going to get a unit right off the bat. They have these handy cards I mentioned earlier, and they will tell you what different things do. So I can't remember what the dungeon does, but I just find the handy dandy card here, and while it's unconquered, I can enter a dungeon as my action for the turn and reveal a brown enemy token and fight it. Night rules will apply for this combat, so I treat it like it's night, which means I can use dark mana if I'm down in there. And I mark the space with a shield and roll a mana die to determine my reward. Gain a spell if it's gold or black. Otherwise, gain an artifact. That's a way to get an artifact. That's kind of cool. While conquered, you can enter a conquered dungeon and fight a random brown enemy with the same limitations, but get no reward if you defeat it, if you've already conquered it. All right. And no new shield token. Okay, so it's a way to get a thing. That's kind of cool. We also have a monster den here. Let me see what that does. While unconquered, I can enter a monster den, draw a brown enemy to fight. If I fail to defeat it, I leave the enemy token face up on the space. Next time a player chooses to enter the den, he fights this token. Okay, if I defeat the enemy, I mark the space with my shield and get 2 random mana crystals as my reward. Roll a mana die 2 times and determine their color. Okay. If I roll a gold, I get to choose my color, and if I roll a black, I get +1 fame instead of a crystal. Okay, so there's some good stuff to fight. We might have a Nice little battle here at the front end. We'll see. The first thing I need to do that I haven't done is I need to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards from the top of my Mage Knight deck. Now these are my basic cards right now, so I don't have anything special in there. I've got 2 armor, I get a hand size of 5, and I'm probably going to want to move. And so I've got 1 move card, which is kind of nice. I can gain 1 additional mana die from the source this turn. That's a good card. I got an ice attack, 2, or ice block 3. Not bad. And I can gain a blue, white, or red mana token. That again has to come from the source. Well, actually, I think I can get any token. It doesn't have to be from the source. I can just get it, but it does disappear at the end of the turn. It's not a mana crystal. This is the way I was playing the game incorrectly the first time, as I treated that like a mana crystal that I could save from round to round, but I cannot. So, or I can influence 5. Well, I don't believe there's the monastery is the only thing that would allow me to really do anything with influence, I think. Let me see what the monastery does. Recruiting with the monastery icon. Okay, so it'd have to be a unit with the monastery icon, which this one and this one both have the monastery icon. It's like a little icon right on the left side. So that's not bad. But I would need quite a bit of influence to do it. Let's see. By healing. So I'm thinking, man, and this is where the choices are pretty meaty in this game, because I could go here and fight in the dungeon. I could try to get some rewards from doing that, or I could go to the monastery, try to build up my character a little bit. I have to move across some grasslands here, and they are 2 move to get across them. So I've got some interesting choices to make. Let's just say that. I think, let's see, I'm going to play this, and I'm going to get a red mana token. Has to be used by the end of the turn, and let me see if I can adjust this camera just a little bit so you can see the play area. So I'm afraid I've got you see in the back, which is not nearly as useful as seeing where I'm at. All right, hopefully you can see. Let's do that. There we go. We'll see that. Hopefully that works a little better. Actually, I didn't realize you couldn't see the map. Huh. Well, that wasn't very helpful, was it? Let's do that. Okay, that should be a little better. All right. So I've got I'm playing my concentration to gain a red mana token. I'm going to go ahead and play my mana draw, and I get to take an extra die from the source this turn, which I think I'm going to be able to use. And it takes 2 move. Do I have to land on the monastery? I don't think so. I think I just have to be next to it. Yeah, I think I have to be next to it, not on it. I think I have to be on it if I'm burning it down, maybe. But I am going to move. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this gold mana here as a green to move 4. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And now for my action, my move is done. For my action, I am going to, I might have, I think, you know what? I think I'm not going to do the extra mana for the source because I don't think I need it. But what I am going to do is use my red mana token, because that allows me to use the more powerful effect on the threatened card, and I will influence 5, and then I will play these sideways for 2 more influence for a total of 7. That's 7 influence. He takes 7 influence. So this is, I'm going to recruit this. Let's see, do I want to recruit that? That has siege attack 4. This one takes 7 too. The Savage Monks or the Illusionists. You know what? I think I'm going to take the Savage Monks. That way I can use their siege attack ability, which will be very helpful to me. Okay. I do need a green mana for that. So I have used all my cards, and this unit does not go away. That does not refill, rather. It stays there until the next round, and then it will refill. So we are going to, I have to re-roll this die, and it's a black mana, so it's considered depleted. If I go in a dungeon, I could potentially use it because it'll be a knight. But these will go to my discard pile, which I'm going to actually shift that there, put the discard pile here. Okay, so I have obtained the Savage Monks, which can help me. They're kind of walking with me as I go around this map and do various things. And so they are my companions, my units that I am recruiting. And right now I only have 1 command token, so I can only recruit one thing. I also was supposed to lose a reputation, so my reputation marker is going to go down 1 because of that 1 card. The threaten card, I lose reputation using the threaten because I'm threatening the monks, and my reputation is not so good after that. All right. So now I'm going to go back up. Oh, I got to do the dummy player. So I don't know if it's visible on the screen, but they have the same, virtually the same deck that I have. And they just discard 3 cards. And they start the game, I'll show you my character, because if my character was the dummy character, then I would start the game with, see if I can hold it. This character would have 2 blue crystals and a red. It's probably hard to see in the lighting here, but there's a picture of 2 blue crystals and a red, and I would put those on there. And the dummy player has something similar, except he's got 2 green crystals and a blue. Well, the last card I flipped over has a green, and because he has 2 green crystals, the dummy player now flips over 2 more green cards and then stops. So essentially, and the dummy player will always take the last card in this draw here. And so what you kind of don't want the dummy player to do is end up getting a whole bunch of one type of crystal, because it just makes, if they land on that card, that color card, then they will go through their deck faster and you will have fewer turns as a Mage Knight. You don't have to play with the dummy player if you don't want to, if you just want to explore and have fun that way. But if you like the pressure of having to have, complete the mission in a timely manner and have something competing against you, the dummy player provides that timer, which makes it harder to compete. Okay, turn 2, got our mana. I got to draw cards up to my hand size, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're a third of our way through our deck. So we've got probably a couple turns before we have to move on. I have no wounds. I don't have green mana, and I'm not sure if I have a way to get a green mana. We've got a good move, but we've got some attack. That's kind of handy. And I could gain another crystal, which could be helpful. Well, let's do a little battle here. I need to move. I don't need a crystal for that. So let's move to the dungeon space. And I don't know that this is strategically what I would normally do, but I'm going to do it just for the sake of, hey, I'm doing a video and I want you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to move my character just to the side here. But he's on that space. And we are down in a dungeon, and we are fighting this, what looks like a werewolf. So he's got a strength. I got to hit him for 5. He will hit me for 7, and he is swift. Let me see if one of these cards has the... I can't remember what swift is. It's got a little arrow on it, and that tells me that it's swift, like a looks like a crossbow. And I know that if a monster is swift, it will get to do... I have to do something a little bit more. If an enemy's swift, it's harder to block. To block the attack of a swift enemy, you need to pay blocks equal to twice its attack value. Well, its attack value is 7. Oh, wow. We might get hit. So because I have to block before I can do anything, and I need a green. They've got a block of 4. I can block 2. We're gonna hit for 14. Oh my goodness, that is nuts. I wonder if I should just all block. Well, I really need to defeat them. Man, that is rough. All right. I have a siege attack. I could hit them for 4, and then I only have to hit them for because the siege attack. But I have to have a green mana in order to hit them for 4, and right now I have no green mana, and there's none in the source. I am in a dungeon. Well, but the dark is only used to make certain spells more powerful, or to use the more powerful effect of a spell, and I don't have a more powerful spell right now. So white and blue are the only manas that we might get at all. I could hit him for 4, but I don't have another siege attack card, which would allow me to hit him for more. But this would allow me to block 5 if I got a red. If I use this to get a red mana, and then I use the red mana to block 5 of what he's going to hit me with, and I use my guy here to block 3, that's kind of helpful. I have to discard another card, which would mean I am not hitting him, and I do want to hit him. This is going to be a terrible battle. This does not set me up well for this whole rest of this game, because I can't quite kill him. I thought my siege attack might be enough to do me. The siege attack phase happens first, and you can use siege attacks and you can use ranged attacks. And unfortunately, she only does 4. So if I got the green mana with this card and then use that for 4, he's not quite dead. And I can't use a basic card to increase the siege attack the way I can with a regular attack card. So I'm not in a good position. So I'm probably going to take some hits. But what would be good is to at least kill him after I take the hit. So the question is, how much hit do I want to take? Because that's a lot of damage. I'm going to get 14 damage. Ooh. If I take I'm not going to take every hit, because 2 of it will get blocked, and I'll take 12. So the question is, how much do I want to block? This I can heal 2, which is kind of nice. Or heal 1 rather. Oh man. And I need, if I hit him, I need to hit him. I need to kill him if I'm not going to block. So let's see. We got to do 5 damage to kill him. So this card would kill him, and I could use this card if I, as long as I have a red mana, which I would need that. To gain a crystal of any, you can also pay 1 mana of a basic. When you play this, pay 1 mana of a basic color, gain a crystal of that color in your inventory. So I really need the blue to gain a crystal of any color in my inventory, because I would need a red, right? So if I pay that, and I use the blue to pay for that, that's my 1 freebie for the turn, then I can get a red crystal. And so what do I want to do for blocking? This will kill him, and this is the card I'm going to discard for that card. And then I have this card in my hand still. So I think I will let the monks. Let me see. Let me double check my battle. Battle is the probably the most complicated thing in the game. So if I do ranged and siege attacks, so what I'm thinking, I'm going to block with my monk. But what I'm concerned about is, like, I'm thinking the damage that not done to the monk would then come to me. If it's only done to the monk, that's actually great. That'd be fantastic. But I feel like there's more. But then the armor value is 4. So if I use, I'm thinking if I use the ability of the unit, a block 3, that unit is used, that would take off 3 damage of the 14, so we're down to 11, and then I'm blocking with the unit. Fahrenheit, total number of blocks. So I'm not playing any other block. Okay, so I'm using my unit to block, and then I'm going to use the unit for the assigned damage phase. So we're down from 14 to 11 minus 4 because of his armor value, puts him at, is that 7? Yeah, he's at 7. All right, so let's see where we're at. It gets wounded irrespective. The armor just tells you how much to reduce the damage after assigning a unit. Okay. If any damage remains, you may assign it to yet another unit, but I don't have one. So I got 7 damage that needs to come back to me. All right. That's because you take it. There's a little calculation here for the damage you take. When taking damage to your hero, you can divide the damage value by your hero's armor and round up to quickly determine how many wounds you take. That's the best way to do it, I think. So the damage is 7. My armor is 2. That's going to be rounded up to 4. So I'm going to take 4 wounds this round. And then after I have taken my 4 wounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are coming to my hand. So these are going to take up room in my hand. Now my hand is 3, 4 wounds and the Tranquility card. So now I am going to use the red mana I had to attack 5, and I'm discarding this card to add to that. So we are going to do an attack of 5 on this creature, and it's going to get discarded, but I will get 5 fame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I passed into the next level, and so now I'm basically going to level up, essentially. And what's going to happen, and actually let me finish my turn because level up doesn't happen until the end of the turn. So we're gonna do the level up first. So I'm on this dungeon. I feel like there was something else I was supposed to get from a dungeon. Actually, I might be doing that wrong. Let's see. Dungeon. All right. So, night rules apply. Mark the space with a shield. So I have defeated this dungeon, and I mark it with a shield. Badoom. Okay. And roll a mana die to determine your reward. Well, I'm going to roll, this is going to be my exhausted die, and I rolled a white. So let's see, I'm going to put that back over here, and if I roll anything, I get an artifact. So this is the artifact deck up here, which I don't know if it's visible on camera, but I'm going to draw an artifact, and that's going to go into my, I think it goes on my draw pile. So let's see what I got. I got an endless gem pouch. When I play this, I can roll a mana die 2 times, gain a crystal in my inventory for each color rolled this way. If I roll gold, I choose the color, and if I roll black, I get +1 fame instead of a crystal. Now, it's also, every artifact has a, you can use this and you throw it out of the game. I can gain a mana token of each basic color, also get 1 gold if played at day, or black if played at night, mana token. But then those, I think, those are mana tokens, not crystals. So I kind of like the regular effect better. So we'll put that in the draw pile there. And that is it. Roll mana die. Okay, so that is that. That is the dungeon. We're done with that, and this is going to get re-rolled. So we got a bunch of white in there. Those are going to go to discard, and I can do one more thing. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to heal 1, which means I get to discard 1 of these with that heal, and I only have 3 wounds in my hand now, and I get to draw 2 cards. And then we're gonna go see what this guy's gonna do. So his last card was a white, so he doesn't do any more cards, the dummy player, after that. And now at the end of my turn, we do level up. So with the level up, what we do, there's 2 different types of level up. There is the shield token level up, and then there is upgrading your Mage Knight spells. And honestly, I completely forget which one's which and what they do. So give me a second here. So level up. This is what we're doing. This is my skill token stack, and I take 2 of those and I put them out here. This is what we're going to call this area the skill offer. And I put 1 of the dummy player's skill tokens out there. Now, the dummy player skill token, if I choose that one, then I have to take the bottom, I have to take this bottom card. If I don't choose that one, and I choose one of mine, I can pick from any of these cards. So some things that are factoring in as I make this decision, because this is the end of my turn. One is, if I take his, now I don't want him to get a green card at the end of the round, so taking that is not a bad card to take because it will keep me from him from getting it, and green makes him go through his deck faster. So his power is once a turn, I can add 1 mana to a card played sideways, and it gives the card +3 instead of 1. If it is an action or spell card of the same color as that mana, it gives 4. Huh. That's a pretty good ability. So let's look at my skills here and see what my skills do for me. And I have resistance break. Once a turn, I can choose an enemy token. It gets armor -1 for each resistance it has to a minimum of 1. Well, this is an exploration mission for all intents and purposes, so I don't know, excuse me, that is what I want to do. Let's see what this other one is. The Cold Swordsmanship. Once a turn, I get attack 2 or ice attack 2. Ooh. That's not bad. That is a good ability to have, but so is the ability to increase your cards with mana. You are sort of subject to whatever is in the pool there. That if I take his, I have to take this one, and there might be other ways to get that card off the board there later. The Blood Rage is attack 2. Take a wound to increase this to attack 3. You know, I have a lot of wounds in my deck, so I think I am going to take, well, I like the attack. I'm going to go ahead and take this plus attack skill, because once per turn I can do that. And I'm going to go ahead and take this card at the bottom anyway, so that he can't get it. And that goes to my draw pile. And these will slide down. So now, at the end of the round, he will get a red instead of that green. And then these stay in the offer pile. Now, I can never get this again, but each time I do every other level up, I will get to choose between a skill token, and I'll get one advanced action there. So that is that, and now my hand is full of wounds, so that's unfortunate, and it is my turn again. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna do my gem pouch here, and I'm gonna roll this twice. So we got a white, and we got a blue. All right, and I'm gonna set it back on white and put it back in there. And we gain a crystal in our inventory for each color rolled this way. So I've got 2 crystals, a blue and a white, in my inventory, and that card is done. Actually, I should probably put it out here. And we can't really move. This card is just sitting in my hand. So really, it's going to be hard to get through my deck at this point, because I can't use any of those for a move. So I'm just going to draw up to my hand size, and we're going to call that my turn, and then it'll be the dummy player's turn. And he ended on a blue card, so he does 1 more because he has 1 blue crystal. And then it is my turn again. All right, and you can see the dummy player's turns are pretty fast. Now I move 4 and heal 2. That's actually a good card. That's extremely helpful, because there's a magical glade right here, and that magical glade helps me get rid of wounds, which I need to do. I gotta find the magical glade card, make sure I'm using it right. I, of course, can't find that card now, but I know it's here because I used it. Huh. Oh, there it is. Last one. All right. Okay, magical glade. If you end your turn on a magical glade, you can throw away 1 wound card from your hand or discard pile. This is not the same as healing. Cannot be countered with other effects. Okay. All right. If you start your turn on a magical glade during the day, you gain a gold mana token. If you start your turn, so yeah, we kind of want to go to the magical glade. But it's on a forest area, which is a move 3. You know what? I think we're going to add that. So we have a move 3 now. And we're going to move to the magical glade. which allows us to get rid of 1 wound card. And then at the start of the next turn, we'll get a gold into our hand. So now I have 2 wounds in my hand. 1, 2, what's it gonna be? 3. Okay, so I've got maybe a turn or 2 for the end. I'm gonna draw my 3 cards, and I start in a magical glade, so I get a gold token. And we've got a lot of move here. Now, to explore map tiles, we are in a good position to do this right now. Oh gosh, I also have those, which is pretty handy. So I think I'm going to explore a map tile. So for my move, I'm starting with a gold token. This turn, that's not bad. So I'm going to use this gold token for a blue mana. And we're going to do a move 4, but you use 2 moves to explore a map token. So 2 of those 4 I'm going to use for this map token. And you orient the number, so the number on the tile is facing the same direction as the number on the basic tile. And I'm exploring this map tile here. Now, I have 2 more move. And there's not really a lot of areas I have that I can go to. So I'm probably, I didn't know if maybe I'd want to move into that tile, so that's why I used the gold token on that. I could do something else, but I could move back here. I could pay a card to go there. Actually, 4 move would let me go there. See, I kind of want to fight that enemy. And I'm going to have to fight him if I move to there, which is kind of what I think I'm going to end up wanting to do. So my 2 plus my another 2. I think if they're fortified, I cannot. I believe a fortified enemy I can't use. Only siege attacks can be used on a fortified enemy. So I'm not in a good position to fight that enemy. It's unfortunate. I've got a good thing here. So I think I'm going to use my move to move back here. And then just kind of chill there, because then I might go back to that glade and then fight the enemy next turn. So plus I need the healing and the gold mana. So we'll do that. So these 2 are discarded. And then dumb player is going to draw. He only has the 1. So it means next turn his deck is empty, and I'll get basically this turn and maybe 1 more. So I'm going to draw. Now my deck is empty. At the beginning of the turn, if the deck is empty, then I can either decide to end the round right then, or I can take a turn, and then dummy player would end the round. So let's see what we got here. Influence, move, ranged attack. Ranged attack I can't use. I don't have a good attack card. So, well, that guy I could attack and defeat. Do we have a move? If we move 2, we need to move 3 for that. So if I did this and this for a move 3, Then I could, yeah, I think I am going to do that. So I'm going to move here for a move 3, because it takes 3 to get there. And this is a crystal. If I end my turn on a mine, I gain 1 mana crystal of the color of that mine in my inventory. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to attack these guys. And I'm actually going to use a ranged attack because I can use a white mana there and range attack these for 3, and they only take 3, which means they will be discarded and I will get 2 of those. And the villagers like it when I kill rampaging orcs. So they were rampaging, so I get 1. There's no villagers around, but villagers like it when you kill rampaging orcs. So I think you always get a reputation when that happens. So that will bring about the end of that turn. And so these will go here, and I get a red mana crystal because I ended my turn on that cavern. And let me double check that everybody, his deck is empty, he's announcing end of the round, and now I get 1 more turn, but I am also announcing end of the round because I have no more cards to draw anyway. So no turns for me. All right, so now we do our end of round cleanup. I believe any wounds stay in my hand. I don't get to get rid of them. This character will be ready, still has a wound, but is readied. And then these cards are going to get shuffled and be my new hand size. And we are about to go into the night phase. So, for the night phase, we're going to re-roll all these die. And go here. And so we have those die, which actually, I'm technically cheating. I think for solo, I was supposed to only have 3 die. So we're going to take out the gold, put it back. I only have 3 die. And I think for the unit offer, I'm only supposed to have 3. So I'm just going to leave this kind of as is. Now this card, well, whenever you do a unit offer, so there's a couple of maintenance things. You take the bottom card. The bottom card goes to the dummy player's deck in there. And this bottom card will go to the bottom of the spells deck, like so. And then we will shift those down and draw 1 new card. The unit offer completely changes. These units will go out. These units will go here. And now there are 2 monasteries revealed on the map. And because there are 2 monasteries, we're going to take 1 advanced spell or advanced action card and put it out here, because you put a new one out for each monastery that's there. And then these will go to the bottom of the deck, like so. All right. And then it is a new turn, and we pick tactic cards, or rather I pick a tactic card, and then the dummy player is going to get to pick a tactic card. So we'll shuffle those and move on. All right. Let's see what we get here. Once per turn, before you use mana from the source, you can re-roll the 2 mana die in the source, choosing the die to re-roll. When you take this die, search your deck for any card, put it in your hand, shuffle your deck. Once before the start of each of your turns, choose 1, put the top card of your deed deck face down under this card, or flip the card face down. I could go first. 1 time this night, before any of your turns, you may shuffle up to 5 cards, including wounds, from your hand back into your deed deck. Ooh, that's a good one. If your deed deck is empty, you may shuffle your discard pile and put 3 cards at random back into your deed deck. Ooh, long night. I kind of well, the problem is if he gets going real fast, that's going to be completely obsolete. I'm going to go Midnight Meditation. I'm going to say that's going to be my card that I'm going to try to use. And then he is going to randomly draw a card. And these are going to be the remaining day tactics for next time. He drew a 6, so he's still going after me. And then I will actually put these cards up here. And then we'll put those there so we can get to him next time. And then I will draw 1, 2, 3, because my hand size is still there. All right, let's see. We've got Influence 2, or with a white mana 4, move 2, or move 4, use 1 additional mana die from the source. Well, I would like to go, let's see, that is 5 spaces. 6, 7, 8. It would take 8 move to get to there. Because getting through the forest is so hard. Oh my gosh. This is tough. This is tough. This is not an ideal turn, and I need some more cards, and I need to heal. So moving at least onto that space is not a bad deal. I don't think I want to take an additional mana die this round. So I'm going to use this green mana, and I'm going to do a move 4, which allows me to go here, which is not much of a move. And I think I don't really want this card in my hand. I'm just going to discard it at the end of my turn, because I don't want to... I'm going to want the extra mana from the source. But we're going to re-roll that and put that there. We're going to draw 1, 2, 3. He got a blue, and oh yeah, I forgot. He got that red card at the end of last turn, so he gets a red mana crystal there. And he's going to flip one more because he flipped blue. Okay, so now I'm going to draw up to my hand size. Oh, well, we got another move, which is good. I need a 5. I'm going to do... 2 mana tokens. Here, turn to the source. I really need the move. So I'm going to move here for 5. I hate to use my mana card for that, but I need to move, and I'm going to probably want the attack block for next turn. So we're going to do that, and I get to throw away one wound card, which is extremely helpful, and I'll get a gold mana next turn. So that's good. I'll take it. We're going to draw 1, 2, 3 cards from... And then he got a red, and he has red mana, so we're going to do 1 more card. All right. Now it's my turn. Draw up to 5. Whoa! Up to 5, and let's see. I really want to take out these guys. Oh, and I start with a gold mana. Can we move? There's a move 4. I would only need 1 more move. I only need to block. Three. Guy only does 3 damage. We only need to block 3. I've got 2 block as is. And so if I just blocked a third, I would be good, and I could kill him. Oh, that's an ice block. Well, I could block with that. Okay. But using that, I think I'm going to use the gold for this. Move 4 and heal 2. I only have to hit him for I hate to use my, that is awfully good. So I need another, when I move, I have to attack him. I don't have a way to defeat him with siege attacks. Oh, I will. I will, because I can heal that. Okay. Okay. So we won't need this then, I believe. I believe that's right. We won't need that because, all right, here's how this will work. So I need to move 5. So there's my move 5. Now I'm gonna have to attack because I was in a space next to this rampaging orc and I moved to another space next to the rampaging orc. But I have moved 5 and I'm going to heal 2. So I'm going to heal, heal. That's not a magical glade. So that's going to heal 1. That's going to heal 2. So they're in my deck, unfortunately. That's not very helpful, but there they are. But now I have to attack the orcs. That's my action this round. So what we can do is, what did I use for that green? I used my gold. Oh, I'm going to have to use my artifact. Okay, and roll a mana die. This is kind of a free action. So I will get a blue crystal and I will get a white crystal. So let's see if any of those I really needed a green crystal. Shoot. That is the one thing I needed, was a green crystal. Ugh. Well, so we have to survive their attack of 3. So I'll let them block, which gives them a wound. Actually, I think the wound, yeah, I'm assuming that wounds I heal from these guys still go into my deck when I heal. So I'm getting lots of wounds clotting my deck. This is not good. All right, so now I can use my attack token, my 1 per turn for 2, and I can ice attack for 2 for a total attack of 4, and that will defeat these guys. And then I will get 2 of those, and since they're rampaging, I get 1 reputation. All right, so that did not work out quite as well as I wanted, but I did defeat them, which is helpful, and I'm probably close to healing a wound here, which is also helpful. All right, so that is, make sure I'm not missing something on my turn. It's the end of my turn, so I'm going to do a level up. And what you do for a level up is I get another one of these tokens. Didn't use these guys, but now they're wounded, so I can't use them, unfortunately. And now I have a hand limit of, it's still 5, but now my shield value is 3. So that is better. All right. Good times. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. It's going to be a white card, no white mana. That's all the dummy player does. And then I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards and move on. All right. Well, we've got some interesting stuff here that looks like it could be helpful. We're at night. It takes 5 move. That would be if I use the, oh, that's blue. Don't have green mana, unfortunately. Shoot. Okay. We can gain a blue, white, or red mana token. That's not terribly helpful at this point in time. Let's see. Let's move 2, 4, 5. So we'll move to this magical glade, and I can remove a wound card from my discard. That's helpful. And then let's just add one move so that I have a one that I didn't use and then an extra one. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to explore a tile. And let's find the number here and put that down facing the right way. So we've got this map tile. And whenever it's at night, so this is not revealed, but that goes there on top of that. Yeah, so that's another revealed tile. Very helpful. And that is my turn. Now the village is where I can recruit, is another place I can recruit some units as long as they can be recruited in a village, which is not bad. 2, 3, 4. Oh, we're going to do 3, and it's a red, so one more. Don't have a ton of turns left, but I'm almost through my deck, so that's not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4. and this is a night phase, so I get one more day and one more night, and if I haven't discovered the city by then, I lose the round. But I think we will probably, if we end our turn on there, it takes 3 move to get there. And then I can interact with the village. Do I have to land on the village? This is one of the things I can't remember. Is like, do I have to land on the village or can I just interact next to it? Units with, I think I can just interact with the village next to it. Let's look at the rule book real quick. See. No, I think I have to land on it. All right, I have to land on it. All right, but so the question is, do I want to land on that or go all the way to the village? The village, going to the village would cost 5 movement. That is pretty handy. So if I gain a blue mana token and use it, that is a 4. I'm going to heal 1. Oops, it's going to get that off of there. So I have move 4. That gets me to the Crystal Cavern for 3. Got one more move. But I think I'm not going to use it because I'm going to use my blue mana, my 1 free blue to get a green crystal. And then I'm going to end my turn there so that I get another white crystal. I can never have more than 3 of any one color, so I have all the white I'm going to get. This I'm going to re-roll, put that back out there. So these are discarded, and I have that 1 card in my hand, and then the dummy player is going to go to the end of their deck And so I have one more turn before day. I'm going to draw my cards. Influence 5. We could get that. But we would still have to move to get to the village, which is very hard to do. I don't think we have a ability to do that, so we're gonna I forgot my knight ability. What do I have? Okay. One time this night, before any of your turns, you may shuffle up to 5 cards, including wounds, from your hand back into your deed deck. So back before I drew these 2 cards, which is what I just drew, and then draw that many cards from your hand back into your deed deck, and then, oh, it wouldn't have mattered, and then flip the card face down. So I basically wasted that. So that was useless. I could have done that earlier, but I didn't. So there's not a whole lot I can do here. I can't make it to the village. I don't have enough to move. Well, actually, this I could move. I could move, and that's 3. That's 2. Okay. So that would set me up for next turn. If I use a crystal, I can move 3 and still have a move 2 left. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to use a red mana crystal, and I'm going to do this for a move. I have to discard another card from my hand, and I'm going to use this for a move 5. And I'm going to use 3 of that move to go there, and the other 2 to get another tile out. Since it's an exploration mission, this is a good option. So I'm going to do that, and that gets that tile out. Let's see. Let's see. We're getting close. All right. So then, at the end of my turn, I think the wound stays there. We will shuffle this. I did not get that. That's going to go into the dummy player's deck. Unfortunately, that's not going to be good for me, because that's every time they draw a green, it's going to be bad. We've got our day tactics. We're going to choose from those in a second. We're going to re-roll the mana and go there. Get another card out here, and that's going to shift down, and then these disappear. We're going to get 2 different ones for the advanced offer, and then these units will go away, and we'll get 3 more units. All right, so 1, 2, 3. All right, and the remaining knight cards will go here. So now I have to choose from these. I'm going to do Great Start, and it's not going to matter what he draws. He's going to get a 2, so we'll put these day 1 there, and I get to draw 2 tactics, 2 cards right away at the beginning of this round. So that's my extra. In addition to my normal hand of 5, I'm going to get those 2 cards. So let's shuffle my hand. I've got a wound in my hand, so I'm already going to be starting a little bit behind. So I think those 2 cards will help. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5, and then I get 2 more. Okay. So we've got that, and he's going to draw 3, and ended on a green. So he's got 3 green crystals, so 3 more cards. So that's an ominous start to the round. Him getting to do that. I get my power token back, which is good. And what I'm going to need to do if I'm going to get through this round is really cruise. Is there anything that heals? Movement is very good. And whenever we have these swords out, we're supposed to put a guy down. Now we have that guy's got brutal. So I think I have to do twice as much damage to kill him. This guy is pretty rough. He's got a couple of abilities here. He's got brutal. If I don't block an attack, it does double damage the next phase, so it'll do 8 instead of 4. He also has physical resistance, so all the damage I do physically is halved. Man, he is a beast. All right. But if we siege attack him, we would be able to defeat him. All right. So movement is 3. Let's see. I like the idea of using an additional die from the source. I think that will be very helpful. So if I use this, that will give me a move 4. I think I'm going to use this, which gives me a total move of 8. I have to pay a blue crystal for that one, or I'm going to, instead of using the source. So total move of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a forest takes 3. Oh man, I really want. I could move here though, and I'm gonna have to fight that guy because I moved on to 2 areas. But do I want to do that? Because I could move to the village as well and not fight that guy this turn. Thing is, I can defeat him this turn. And I might want that influence. So I think I'm going to get that extra move so I can end my turn there and knock that wound out. And I'm going to have to fight the guy, but that is okay because I played that mana, so I can use an extra mana from the source, and I'm going to use it to pay for my siege attack 4 from my unit, which means that unit is spent, but they only take 3, and the siege attack will wipe them out in 1 fell swoop. So that defeats that enemy. That gets me a reputation. And I get 1, 2, 3, 4 fame. So that was productive. And then at the beginning of next turn, I'll get a gold mana. So that would be a helpful turn. And then I'll keep these cards in my hand. That guy's used. Reroll mana into the source, and we will move on with the dummy player. 1, 2, 3, and he got a white. He's got no white crystals, so that's that. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3. I've been fortunate to be able to get rid of the wounds that I've had as efficiently as I did. I am thankful for that. I don't have any in my... I could just draw 2 cards. That would be helpful. You know what? I am going to use this gold mana in the source, whoops, as a green, and I'm going to draw 2 more cards. 1, 2, because he's going through his deck pretty fast, so I'm just going to try to get get through my deck fairly quickly. All right, let's do a move 2 to reveal the tile. And we're going to reveal this one. So this is where it gets a little tricky with space. As this map expands, you can see that it takes up room on the board here. And we have to match up circles and stars where we can. So I could also, I'm going to use this move 2 to reveal another tile, which this is going to give us some pretty, we're going to have some pretty expansive map to get through here, but I don't have much longer before the game's going to end. So I probably will move back its day so we know which thing we'd have to fight if we go to that deal. And let's see. That's my explore. There's a map tile that can go here. There's one that can go there. So getting that city is going to be the deal here. I kind of want to go to the village. Attack block. I think I'm going to pay 1 mana of any basic color. No, I've already used my crystal or my mana for this turn, so that's not going to help much. I just need a move. I need the influence. I need the influence. And how it's move 2, so I'm going to do those sideways from move 2 to go to this village. And my interaction there, put those like that. Let's see, influence. Don't have a red mana token. I have to use white to influence 4. That's actually not bad. I'll do that. I'll use a white mana token for an influence 4 and get these monks, because I can get them from a village. And then I'll keep that in my hand. Those go to my discard. And 1, 2, 3, 3. And then we have 1 red token. And we'll go here. All right. Costume change. All right. We're back, or I'm back, rather. I don't suppose you ever left. Just trying to remember where I was at. I think the dummy player had gone, or maybe I finished my turn and the dummy player had not gone yet. That's what I'm thinking. 1, 2, 3. Whoops, I'm doing this wrong. 1, 2, 3. Turn it over. It's red. There's 1 red. So now I draw up to my hand size. 1, 2, 3. There's 5. Okay. Now, where am I at? I don't think... Do I have any wounds in my discard that would be worth trying to heal? No. I think I got rid of most of them, or they're in the deck, so I can't, excuse me, get to them. Let's see. I could go to that village. I could explore this tile, which wouldn't be a bad one to get taken care of. I think I was supposed to roll that, put it back in the doohickey. I could influence and get some. Well, I don't have another. Oh, I could. Though I could influence and replace this one, and it would be. Well, I've used it, so I would not be able to use it again. I don't believe it's in comeback ready. Let's see. Let me see something. Recruiting units with village icon. All right. I don't know. I need to find out. I can't remember how to get the advanced spells there if I want them. Well, not the spells. I know how to get spells. To get a spell, I have to go to defeat that enemy at the mage's castle, and it takes 2 ice damage. It looks like to defeat. Whew. So I don't know if I'd be able to do that very well. Actually, I'm sorry, it does 2 ice damage. So I'd have to be able to block 2 ice damage. We might look through my hand and see what I'm able to do. I don't think I have anything that can block ice damage, so I would have to kill that thing. And it's got physical resistance and ice something. So, So what I want to see is if, you know what, I think, do with move points, non-wound, locals, spending influence, recruiting units. All right. I will have to. I don't know how to get these. They're in the unit offer, but I don't know. I have to look up how to get those from the unit offer. I don't think I'm going to go after that anyway. So what I need to do is explore. So I'm going to do a move 2 so that I can at least get this out. That gets that. We have to put a guy there. Move, block, influence. That can heal 2 if I had that. I could gain a green mana token. Ready, a level 1 or level 2. I really need to find that city. That's kind of my primary objective. Moving across some of these places is going to be harder at night, especially forests. But that's 5 now. That's always 5 because it's rocky. Let's see. We have a gold, a red, so we've got a couple of things we can do. That I would have to. I could siege attack that. If I readied this unit using this unit, I could siege attack it. But it's pretty. Man, I don't know that that's worth it. We're also supposed to put. I don't think these are face. I think these are face down. I'd have to look that up. It's a ruins token that goes on the ruins. Whenever a ruins is exposed or revealed on the map, you put one of those down. I kind of think going over here is going to be my most significant thing I can do. But I don't dislike the idea of going there either. And defeating that guy for a couple of fame. Because I would get a new skill, which could be useful. Let's see how the ruins work. I cannot remember for the life of me how the ruins work. City ruins. Okay, so the ruins, you place a yellow token face up if it's day, oh, it is face up if it's day. Okay. So this is going to give me, I can spend 3 blue mana, it looks like, to get 7 fame. Well, that will be tough to do. I mean, it's not impossible. While unconquered, you can enter the ancient ruins as your action for the turn. There will either be an altar there or enemies to fight. Pay 3 mana of the color shown on the yellow token as tribute to the altar. If you do, mark the space with a shield token and gain 7 fame as your reward. That's pretty good. Enemies. Draw the enemies depicted on the yellow token, but there are no enemies there. So that's just if I choose to do that. The problem is, well, it's 3 movement to move through there. And it's 4 to move all the way over there. I could... I think I'm going to reveal that map. So if I do pay a gold, I'll use that to move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then pay 2 more. Okay, 2 more move to reveal a map. Boom. And that was the number 1 tile. So that will go there. And we're running out of room on for our rule book there. So that reveals that tile at least. And there's not much there. Let's see if I have to put one down. I think that's a dungeon. I think it's a tomb, actually. You can enter a tomb as your action on your turn. Draw a red Draconum enemy to fight. Night rules apply to combat. Okay. So if I want to fight a Draconum, I can go down there. I don't think I want to do that. I think I am going to end my turn there and re-roll that. I don't have anything I want to interact with. I do not want to fight that enemy for sure. So he's going to go, if I use, I'll get this turn, he's out next turn. So I'm going to be at most 2 turns here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I already drew my card, so I'm not getting any extra. So I got 1 card left in my deck. 2 wounds. Ugh. That is no good. Although, if I had a green, which I have 1 there, I could, when play this, play another action card with it and get the stronger effect for free. Move, influence, block, or any type of attack. Gain that amount +2. Huh. I'd have to end my turn on a glade. Those are move 3. So that could give me a move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's not bad. That would be for a green token. So I think that's going to be a good one. When I play this, if I use the powerful effect, I'll pay my green mana here. I can play another action card with it and get the stronger effect of that card for free. And if it gives me move, influence, block, or any type of attack, I gain that amount +2. So if I then play this, get the stronger effect for free. So it's going to be a move 6, heal 4. Move 6, heal 4. So I'm going to go, there's my 6. So for the heal, I'm going to heal, oops, I just discard them. Now, I have to double check something. When I heal, do I draw a card as well? Because that will make a difference on my turn. Okay, so actually at the end of the round, I was supposed to put wound cards into my deck and shuffle them in. But it says for healing, I actually discard them. That's interesting. I wonder if that was an updated rule with the FAQ. But I'm not going to bother checking right now. Attack or block 2, attack 4. Do I want to keep this? I'll keep it just in case I really need a move next turn. And I can't afford it. So I'm going to call that. End of round, I get 1 turn. And then it's his go. So let's see what we got here. Oh, man. I am going to roll a mana die. Whoops. Actually, why don't I use the mana that's here, one of these mana die, and I get a crystal of that color. I got a black, so I gain a fame for a black. So we'll do that. That is my artifact, and I can't move. I can't do anything with that. I can't attack anything. Oh, can I burn down a monastery? Well, I'd have to move on to the monastery, which I don't have the wherewithal to do. So we will end the round after this turn. So he is going to get a red mana token. And we'll shuffle this deck. There we go. Now we've got our dummy player set up for next round. And then I am going to shuffle mine. I'm going to ready my guy there. And that's that. We have a third monastery. Actually, yeah, we got a third monastery revealed. So we need another advanced spell in the offer. I really need to figure out how these advanced spells in the offer work. I cannot remember. I don't think there was a time where I would have gotten an advanced spell from the offer, so it's probably 6 one way, half dozen the other at this point. But I should probably figure out how to access them, because down the road, when I play this again, I might want to do that. So these go on the bottom, and we get a new unit offer of 3 units, like so. Okay, so that's done. We put the spell there at the bottom and go there. And I haven't gone after any spells this game. So last game I went after a spell, but they're challenging to use. And honestly, with this game being reveal the map and find the city, I just didn't feel like it was necessary to really try to find a spell. So we are going to the night phase. This is the last round of the game for me. If I don't discover the city after this round, then I lose, is how that works. So do I want to go first? Once per turn, before you use mana, I can reroll up to 2 mana in the source. When you take this attack, search your deck for any 1 card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. One time this night, if your deed deck is empty, you can shuffle your discard pile and put 3 cards at random back into your deed deck. Then flip this card face down. I think I'm going to do the long night. That is going to be my deal. And then we will draw for the Automa. And since this is our, not the Automa, our dummy player, that's our last turn. So I'm not going to worry too much about the tactic cards now, because we're not doing another round after this. It's game over if I don't defeat at this point. The other thing is, now that my reputation is here, and I didn't think about this before, but if I do something that takes influence, it's +1 influence, which is very good. So the higher your reputation, the more your influence can help you gain units and such. Okay, so we're gonna draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. All right, and I really want to move. Feel 1, ice, I gotta move. All right, we've got a red and a green. Let me put this on the other side. Attack, block, ready unit, heal 2, gain green mana token. Okay. Is it worth it to try to get that 7 fame? Nothing here is going to give me more mana, so I think I'm just going to reveal. I'm going to pay a move 2 to reveal this tile, and that's going to go down here. So we have a Draconum. We're at night, so at night you don't reveal what that monster is. And we put a Draconum here. Looks like it's a green Draconum. And then we have a Ruins, and again, it's at night, so we don't know if this is baddies or something else. So to some degree, that was a move 2. You know what? I am going to at least spend my blue mana for a move 4 so that I could go there. And the question is, do I want to interact and fight these guys who I could defeat easily with them because there is green mana? I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to interact with these guys and I'm going to battle them, and I'm going to use this unit here. We'll put that there. He will be used, and we will siege attack. I'll use the green mana from the pool. That's my freebie for the turn. And siege attack 4 on these guys. They don't have any other defense. They don't give me a whole lot, but they won't even get to attack because I will defeat them in the siege attack range. They take 4 damage. They only take 3 to defeat. So that will give me 2 fame. 1, 2. They were rampaging. So I get 1 influence, and that increases my level at the end of the turn. And I don't believe there is anything else I can do because I can't move anymore. I could, as a free action, draw a card. And I think I will draw a card so that I have 1 more. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't want to do that yet. Let's pretend I didn't see that card. I want to wait until after I've drawn it to my hand size and then go from there. Okay, so end of turn, dummy turn. 1, 2, 3. He's turning over a red. He has 2 red tokens, so he's going to do 2 more cards. My turn. This is, we get 2 of these to choose from, and this guy gets 1. Now, right now, I will pick one, but I'll have to choose between that. What does his ability do? It is a flip one. So, once a round, flip this to gain 1 blue crystal in your inventory and 1 green mana token. Well, that's kind of cool. That's not a bad ability. What are my abilities? I really need stuff that is largely going to help me move. So we have, once a turn, 1 card played sideways gives you +2 instead of +1. If it's an advanced action spell or artifact, it gives +3 instead. That's not bad. That was kind of similar to what his did. And then who needs magic? Once a turn, 1 card played sideways gives you +2 instead of 1. If you use no die from the source this turn, it gives +3 instead. Well, I kind of like Who Needs Magic. I'm going to do that once a turn. That's pretty good. So that'll stay up there. I'll just keep these together. And I get to pick one card from here. I can gain a blue crystal to my inventory or a ranged ice attack 3. Move 2. The move cost of swamps is reduced to 1 this turn. Huh. The move cost of swamp. Oh, those are swamps. I thought it was rocks. It's swamps. That actually could be pretty helpful. My goal is moving around, so I am going to grab that one, and then a new spell comes out. Oops, that goes on top of there. And then I'm going to draw up to my hand size. And now it's my turn again. I just did things a little out of order there. So that was the end of my turn. And I already did his thing, so now it's my turn again. Yep. All right. So now, well, that's the thing. I got to re-roll this. All right, we got a blue. Let's block. That's a move 2, and the move cost is reduced. Let's use the, well, I don't know. If I don't use that and I use another card, what does it give me? If I don't use that, and I think it's +3 if I don't use any mana. So 2, 3, 4, 5, or it's 4, you're able to move through lakes, and the move cost of lakes and swamps is reduced to 1 this turn. That's awfully good. 1. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use the blue. And we're going to have a move 4. So that's 1 move. I can use 2 moves to reveal this tile. And that's the city. There is the city tile. So that's a win. Because all I had to do was reveal the city tile. And then that's my goal for this scenario. Other scenarios, your goal is to obtain a certain amount of fame, or the most fame if you're playing other players. But if you're playing solo, your goal is to accomplish other things, get a certain number of crystals, get a certain amount of fame, defeat a certain number of monsters, that sort of thing. Or usually it's to go around and defeat cities. So this city, all I had to do was make it appear. But if you were fighting cities, there's actually a token with a rotating dial where the city goes on there, and you have to fight. You have to take over the city in order to defeat the game. It's pretty. You take over a certain number of cities, and then you can win once you control those cities. And if you're playing multiplayer, you would put shields on those cities to indicate that you are the one that controls that city. So that is it. Let me talk about rating. This is the first time I played. Well, I played the game just so I can get a feel for it. And then this is my second playthrough on the solo version. And there is a point scoring option that I could go through to see how many points I score for my going through the game, but I'm not. My goal was to play the game and get a feel for the game, so I'm not going to worry about going through that to score points. As far as just reviewing the solo, I was very nervous about this game, and the rule book made it really tough because having to jump back and forth between the walkthrough and the actual rules, it makes it sound like it's not that hard. You just do the walkthrough, but you would have to jump into the rules to get an answer to some of the questions that you have. And even as I played this my second time, there are some things I need to go back to the rules and see, like
if there's spells in the offer. I don't remember how to get those. I need to go back and double check that. So that's probably the biggest struggle in getting into this game, is just making sure you understand stuff. Now, that being said, they have these cards that help if you reveal a certain, like a city, or you reveal a certain areas on the map. And how do I interact with those areas on the map? There's a card for each one, and you have to look on the front and the back. You saw me struggle with that one card, and that's kind of cool. So there is some help with doing that, with getting through and understanding those cards and how they work. Hopefully this was helpful as far as understanding like how you can recruit units, how you could use units to help you out during the game. One of my units could have helped me move. I didn't even think about that as I was trying to get that last tile explored. And I might have, I was doing a wedge shape, so I'm assuming I could have kept going that way. I think I did it right. I could have kept going that way, and then I came back, and so the city tile ended up here. But as you can kind of see, based on the randomization of the tiles, this city could have ended up anywhere. It happened to be the very last tile I drew, which, of course, was not as good for me. That happened the last game, too. It was the very last tile I drew that ended up being the city. It could have been one of the other tiles that I drew first, had had they shuffled differently. So there is some amount of randomization. There's a little bit of luck involved, but it doesn't really seem like inappropriate luck. You're a Mage Knight, sort of this semi-magical warrior roaming the countryside, and the luck of the draw when it comes to monsters and what you're going to encounter in a tomb or in a given encounter is, I feel like pretty thematic. I would say it is not too dissimilar from, the luck you might encounter in Gloomhaven with the combat decks, or the what do you call it? The modifier decks. I think it's similar to that kind of luck, where in battle you're going to have a little luck. And so I'm not a big fan of luck in games generally, but when it's thematic, like Robinson Crusoe, or in the way it is in Gloomhaven, I think it is. I like it. I like it because there's a theme to it that makes sense, as opposed to just random, hey, I rolled dice, oh, I lost because I rolled a bunch of dice, and it has nothing to do thematically with what's going on in the game. So I do like that about Mage Knight. The setup, once you know how to set this game up, it's not too bad. I would not have a hard time getting this out. In fact, this is easier to set up than if I was setting up Gloomhaven. This is easier to set up than Sword and Sorcery was. I'd be comfortable setting up a scenario, playing a scenario, and putting it back away. It actually didn't take too long. So it's a fairly quick playthrough, but doesn't feel like it's too quick for the setup. So this is a game I'd probably prefer to set up and play at least 2 games. But as far as reset goes, it probably depends on which scenario I'm playing, how much the reset's going to be, because I got to read the scenario for whether I'm conquering cities and which tiles to put out. But there's not that many tiles in this game. And so given that there are not that many tiles, it's not, I don't think it's an overly weighty game to worry about, whereas Sword and Sorcery, Gloomhaven, you have a large number of tiles that you have to sort through to set up a given scenario. I hope to get to play the Gloomhaven scenarios, the solo scenarios, but I haven't done that yet because it's a fairly significant process to go through, find the appropriate tiles, read the solo scenario, get it all set up, and then play it. And then that playthrough, that takes time. And then you have to pick the cards you're going to use for that given scenario as well. So that one is a lot harder to set up than this, to be sure. I don't know if I'd call this a dungeon crawl. It's kind of like a dungeon crawl. It's more map exploration and dungeon crawl combined. It's fairly unique. I do like this. I still like Gloomhaven better than this, but as a solo, let me rephrase that. I like Gloomhaven better than Mage Knight as a multiplayer experience. Now, I haven't played Mage Knight multiplayer, but I've played Gloomhaven multiplayer enough to know that I would like Gloomhaven better than Mage Knight as a multiplayer. However, as a solo game, I like Mage Knight better than I think Gloomhaven. Now, if you start saying, oh, well, what about Gloomhaven digital? That's tough. Probably, given that Gloomhaven digital is well done, maybe I'd swing back toward that. But as a board game and purely focusing on the board game aspect, I like Mage Knight solo better than Gloomhaven. I think it's a good, meaty, puzzly sort of experience, trying to figure out how to navigate the monsters and the map, and do that in a functional way to accomplish the goals. And I think it's well made, and even though the instructions are a little bit, don't like the instructions a ton, they are written in a fairly organized fashion that aren't that hard to find. So several times I've had to go back and find a ruling on a thing, and it didn't take me that long to find the ruling because the instructions are fairly organized in a way that makes sense and makes it pretty easy to find what you're looking for. I've not played the Ultimate Edition of Mage Knight. This is just the basic game, the base game. I don't have a plan to go get more pieces or missions from this game. This was good. If I end up playing through it or down the road find myself playing a lot more solo than I anticipate, if we, move to a remote area or something, then I would consider getting some upgrades to expand the missions. But for right now, this is a good game. I kind of want to play it multiplayer with some folks and see what that's like. Not sure where it's going to rate 100%. I like the art. I think it's thematic. I think it fits in. I wouldn't say it's like blows my mind, but it does not detract from the game. It fits in well with the game. It's on the darker side, but then the theme is kind of a darker fantasy theme, so that makes sense. The interaction, the different tokens, the variability with what you're going to encounter on the map. I could play that same scenario multiple times in different ways and sort of come up with my own personal, hey, I'm going to try to do this as I discover the map. And that would be fun. I could see playing it without the dummy player, getting rid of the timer and just having fun exploring the map and seeing what I can do. And that would still be fun because it didn't become sort of this exploration game where you're just kind of seeing what you can accomplish. And I put the pressure on myself with the dummy player, but if I just want to fight in a dungeon, if I want to see what these monsters are like and really delve into the game more, I would play without the dummy player and just level up my Mage Knight as I go through the country conquering things. And that would be enjoyable. I actually might do that at some point. So this is a good game. Hopefully the setup that I walked through was helpful. And even as I put it away here, you might have seen some of that putting away. The box is well set up, so it's not hard to store. It's got some nice inserts. I think they take up more space than they have to be honest. They seem kind of tall for what they are, but they do store the game well. And now that I understand and know what I'm doing, this game will be a lot easier to get out either for solo or for multiplayer. This is in some ways about as easy as it gets as far as storage goes for a game that has this much meat to it. I love it. So if you have comments, if you've played Mage Knight, you might have seen me make mistakes. I'm sure if you're an experienced Mage Knight player, you probably caught a whole bunch of mistakes I made, or some of the rules might have some updated errata that I missed. I did read the FAQ a couple of times to try to update myself, but I did try to play it this time as I sat down and not look at the rules too much and just kind of go with what I remembered from the first playthrough. And I feel like it was fairly successful with not a lot of misses. But if you have comments or if you've played enough that you're like, oh man, there's this whole other aspect of this game you would love if you get it to the table again, you might want to consider that, then throw it down there. I'd love to read up on it, and I'll be keeping this game. I am not planning to trade it away. There are quite a few games I've played once and I'm like, that's okay. And then I'll trade it and get something else I think I'm more interested in. I did like this. I will play it again. I don't plan on getting upgrades, but I would consider it down the road if I end up getting it to the table a little bit more. We'll see how much interaction I get with other gamers. But yeah, thanks for watching today, and until next time, have a great weekend from Unraveled Game Thoughts.